We are on the island of Kauai, and we found two of Hawaii's most secret snorkeling and diving spots. We should see a ton of underwater lava tubes and of course sea turtles. Hawaii is the most remote island chain on the planet, and with how far these islands sit from any other landmass, you might think the marine life is few and far between. However, Hawaii serves as an oasis in the middle of the Pacific, and these islands have an insane amount of marine life. Now, when you think of diving in Hawaii, you don't typically picture Kauai. However, this island is home to some of the best snorkeling and diving spots on the planet. This is what brought me to this beautiful island, and over the course of the next few days, me and my girlfriend are going to dive some of the most remote spots on Kauai. So today we're at a spot called Hideaways Beach. It's one of the lesser known beaches on the entire island of Kauai. The snorkeling here is supposed to be phenomenal. I know we're both excited to see it, so let's go check it out. So Hideaways Beach is really unique. You can see the snorkeling area right here. You can see the outer reef, which protects the inner reef from the high surge. But we have a very steep hike down. It's really not that far, it's just incredibly steep, and with all the gear we have today, it's gonna be a little tricky. Here's what the climb down looks like. It's insanely steep, and carrying all the gear, it's really tough to navigate, and I'm not really wearing the best shoes either. But once you get up here, you can start to see the water and all the coral, and it's just insanely beautiful. But here it is, our first actual view of Hideaways Beach. Look how beautiful it is. So the reef here looks unbelievable. We still are only about halfway there though. We got to continue hiking to get all the way down to the beach. And just look at this water right here. Look how close the reef actually comes to the shoreline. Hawaii is one of the only places in the world you can find coral reefs like this. It's just insane. So before we hop in, a little fun fact, every beach in the state of Hawaii is a public beach, and it's so rare to find a beach with nobody on it. And besides for us, there are two other people, but we have this entire area to ourselves. This spot is pretty tricky because of its conditions. During the colder half of the year, this place can't even be snorkeled. But for a few months during the summer, you can get the right conditions. As soon as we entered the water, I knew that Selena was in search for a sea turtle. But along the way, I discovered this sea cucumber sitting on the coral. These animals are the definition of weird. They don't have a brain, heart, or lungs, and like to feed on plankton floating in the water or algae. But I think that we can all admit that they are pretty to look at. It wasn't long after that when we found our first sea turtle of the day. These guys are almost a guarantee when in Hawaii, and lucky for us, Kauai has the largest concentration of them out of all the Hawaiian islands. Before we knew it, we found 5 more sea turtles. This was definitely Selena's favorite part. She said she wanted to find some sea turtles in Hawaii, and here she was just feet away from a bunch of them. Now, typically these turtles try to stay in the shallows as much as they can. 1, so they can feed on the algae growing on the rocks, and 2, it serves as protection from their #1 predator, tiger sharks. But in this depth, a shark that large wasn't really a possibility. Eventually, we got out of the water. Hideaways is one of the most unique spots I've ever been to, and one of the most secret too. However, our next location would be even more secret than this, and would show us some of the coolest things Hawaii has to offer. And the best part about it is that I discovered it by accident. I was flying my drone from the top of a hill when I found what looked to be an awesome diving spot. The drop-offs and water clarity looked unreal, and I found a ton of sea turtles with my drone. After doing some research on Google Maps later that night, I found the way to get there. And trust me, it did not disappoint. Now, the first 200 yards or so underwater were shallow and pretty barren. Only some small corals and algae could be found, and it made me wonder where the heck the area I saw from my drone was. But finally, pretty much out of nowhere, we hit this coral wall. Almost every time we looked into the open water, we would see a sea turtle off in the distance. And about every 20 yards or so, we would find one hanging out on the drop-off itself. This is one of the best snorkeling spots I have ever seen in my life, and I know that the abundance of sea turtles made Selena that much more excited. Eventually, we went away from the drop-off and explored some of the reef. This is where we found a massive school of convict surgeonfish. There had to be at least 200 different individuals. It was insane. We also discovered some more sea turtles out here. Hawaiian sea turtles are one of the most iconic marine animals on the planet, and every encounter you have with them seems even better than the last. But eventually, we made it back to shore. It was so awesome to explore two of Kauai's most remote and secret snorkeling spots, and the stuff we saw was incredible. A total of almost 30 different sea turtles, huge schools of fish, and some amazing underwater structures. Kauai is full of surprises everywhere, whether deep in the mountains or under the surface, which is why this island is one of the most unique on the planet. Do you want to see more awesome underwater adventures? Subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss out on new videos.